Hi students, welcome you all to this online class. My name is Abhishek and I hope that you all have completed the chapter number 4, that is sorting of material into groups. And I hope that you all have completed the chapter very well. Now we are going to start a new chapter, that is separation of substances. So the first question arises about that what is this substance, isn't it? As you already have the concept of the material. What concept? That material, isn't it? So everything what is considered as material, each and everything comes under the substance. Maybe it is solid, liquid or gas, right? So as you have you know about the material, that materials are of three types, that is solid, liquid and gas. Similarly, we can say that the materials are the substances. Okay, so first of all, in our daily life there are many instances when we notice a substance being separated from a mixture of material. So this chapter is completely about the concept of mixture and their separation. Since we all are familiar with the tea leaves, okay, tea making, and you all have seen that your parents or guardian, what they used to drink tea, right? So how we can prepare the tea, and after preparing the tea, to serve the tea, what we do, we used to separate the tea leaves. What we do, we use separate the tea leaves from the tea, that is the liquid, with the help of what? With the help of strainer, right? While preparing the tea. And here we can see the example. So here it is a picture of separating the tea leaves with a strainer. And so here this is known as strainer. It is doing what? It is separating the tea with the tea leaves. Okay, it is separating the tea from the tea leaves. Similarly, in case of grains is separated from what? Grains is separated from stalk while harvesting. Okay, similarly, milk or curd is churned to separate the butter. Here we have an example of the butter making. That butter is taken out by churning the milk or curd. So by rotating this by rotating this one in a high speed manner, what we will do, that we are doing churning the milk. So after rotating the, or after churning the milk, what we will get? We will get the butter. Okay, so we are doing what? We are doing, or we are separating the butter from the milk. So it is known as what? Churning the milk. So these things you have already learned in chapter 3, that when we find out cotton, what we do, that we used to gin the cotton to separate its seeds from the fiber, isn't it? To get the cotton fiber, what we have to do? We have to gin the cotton. So these all things is completely about the separation of substances. Perhaps you might have eaten salted dalia or poha. If you found that it had chilies in it, what you will do, that you will carefully remove these chilies one by one with the hand, right? So there are so many separation technique would be there, right? So if I will give you the mangoes or guavas in a basket and I will tell you to separate them, what you will do? You will just simply place mangoes and guavas one by one in separate container, isn't it or not? So we are doing what? We are completely separating the mangoes and guavas. So it seems easy to separate the large size component. What will happen if we want to separate very small size material or substances which we cannot even pluck, or which we cannot even which we cannot even separate with our hand? So it seems very difficult when the materials we want to separate is much smaller than mango or guava, isn't it? So suppose you have a sand of glass, and which is mixed with what? Salt. So can you remove the salt from the sand? Will it be possible for you? Obviously not. By picking up the sand one by one, it will be very difficult to separate, or in one says that it can be impossible, isn't it? So to separate these things, we need some kinds of techniques, isn't right? So to understand all about this, we have to go through this activity one, where you will be given the purpose of separation and the way of separated components are used is mentioned in column 2 and 3. Here we have the column 2 and 3. So what you will do, you have to do this in your copy, that why do we separate substances. Just do this in your copy in a complete well manner. First one, these all will be as it is. That first one is separate stone from rice. To separate the stone from rice, what is the purpose of separating the stone from the rice? Obviously we do what? We eat rice. We don't want to eat stone with the rice, isn't it? So we have to separate the stone from the rice. Also, we know that we can eat rice, but we cannot eat stone. So stone is not a useful component, isn't it? But in option number 1, or in option number A here, it is given that to separate the two different but useful component. In the useful component, stone is obviously not a useful component for us while eating a rice, isn't it? So it shouldn't be the answer of shouldn't be the answer of this option number 1. So to do this, what we have to find that to remove the non-useful component. Obviously stone is what? It is a non-useful component. So obviously B would be the answer of this option number 1. Similarly, what do we do with the separated component? After separating the two components, what we will do? We throw away the solid component. Here stone is obviously a solid component, so we will do what? We will throw away the solid component. Also rice is also the solid component, but as we need the rice, okay, as we need the rice to eat, so we will do what? We will just throw away the solid component. Obviously we can check the option number 2, that we throw away the impurities. Obviously the stone in rice is an impurity, but in option number 3 we use both the component. Obviously in case of rice, we eat rice, but we will throw what? We will throw stone. So we will not use a stone in that case. So we will not use both the components. So option number 3 would not be the answer of this option number 1 in column 1. Okay, it is column 1, column 2 and column 3. So what you have to do, you have to do this column one by one by these all are jumbled, so you have to write this in a corrected manner. Okay, now if we see that we use a substance that we need to separate harmful or non-harmful substances that we may mixed with it. Sometimes what we do, that we used to separate even useful components if we need to use them separately. Obviously in case of butter and milk, what we are doing, that we are separating the butter from the milk. So we can say that butter is an useful component for us, also the milk is an useful component of us. So we will do what? We will separate the two different components, but both are important to us. Substance to be separated may be particles of different size or materials. These may be in any 3 states of matter. Now in case of any 3 states of matter, you have to remember that there are 3 states of matter, that is solid, liquid and gas. I hope that you know it very well, that what is solid. If anything is hard or anything have its particular shape, right? Suppose you are as you are watching this video in your mobile or in a computer, so you can easily touch that mobile or computer, so it have its definite shape. So that is what? That is a solid. But in case of drinking a water or drinking a juice or any kind of thing, that comes under what? Liquid, because they do not have the definite shape. And we can see that we are breathing. So for breathing, what we need oxygen. So oxygen comes under what? Gas. So I hope that you have completely understood the difference between solid, liquid and gas. So the question arises that how do we separate the substance mixed together? If the substances are mixed together, how do we separate them? So they have so many different properties. If they have so many different properties, how we will separate them? So to separate them, we need some methods of separation. Now you have to know these methods of separation. So come to the first methods of separation, that is hand picking. As we have already given the example of hand picking very well, that when you are separating the mangoes and guavas, obviously you were doing what? Hand picking, right? So hand picking is the first and foremost the basic technique of separation. Remember it. So here is an activity in your book. You may do that. What you will do, that if you will just bring the packet of food grains purchased from the shop in your home. Suppose as obviously we cannot gather in a classroom, so you can do this activity in your home. If you will just bring the packet of food grains which can be purchased from any shop, after bringing the grain, what you will do, just you have to spread the grains on a sheet of paper. Okay, so after separating those grains, you will after spreading those grains in your on the paper, you will find out so many of stones or husk or broken grains. If you will not find any stone or husk, you may find out some broken grains. So if you will just get a challenge to separate these broken grains from the good grains, so you have to do what? You have to do some hand picking, right? So that hand picking is what? We just pick some of the broken grains with the help of a hand, and we will just separate them. So the method of hand picking can be used for separating what? Separating the slightly larger size impurities, like the piece of dirt or the stone and husk from the wheat or rice or pulses, because in our regular life we uses these kind of things. So the quantity of such impurities is usually not very large. Obviously, if the amount of the stone and the amount of the grains would be similar, suppose you have mixed one glass of stone with the 1 glass of grain, will it be possible to pick all the stones by your hand? Obviously not, because it will take too much of your time, and time is too precious, you all know. So what we will do, we will just hand pick such particles in which the impurities are very less in number, or we can say in a counted number. Okay, now the next the method of separation is threshing. Now what the threshing is, you must have seen the bundles of wheat or paddy stalks lying in the field after they harvested from the crop. Okay, so these stalks are first what? They are dried under the sun before the grain is separated from them. So to separate the grains, obviously it will be very difficult to separate the grain from those crop by picking them with our hand. So what we have to do, we have to beat those grains on a solid surface. So when we will beat them grains on a solid surface, those grains will get separated. That particular process is known as what? Threshing. Here you can see that a person or a farmer is beating the grains on a solid surface. So what is threshing? The process that is used to separate the grains from the stalk is threshing. In this process, the stalks are beaten to free the grains. Okay, so it is the definition of threshing. I hope that you got the answer of threshing and you got the clear concept about the threshing, isn't it? So can the two different components be made of easily? Are the size of the particles of the two components are smaller? Obviously, in that case, suppose okay, I'm sorry, here, okay. Now, in case of threshing, sometimes in nowadays, what is happening that to do threshing, sometimes threshing is done with the help of what? Bullocks. And nowadays, threshing is done with the help of machines, where machines are also used to thresh the large quantity of grains. If you have the large quantity of grains, what we will do, that we will separate them with the help of machines. Now, the another process of separation is winnowing. Winnowing, here we have the word win or the wind. So obviously the separating technique, as in case of separating the grains from the husk, what we do, we will use the process of winnowing. Now husk is very lighter component, so to the method of separating the components of mixture is known as what? Winnowing. And winnowing is used where winnowing is used to separate the heavier and the lighter components of a mixture by the help of wind or blowing air. Okay, here we can say, or we can see that a person or a farmer, here a lady, is doing what? She is separating the husk from the grains, as the grains are heavier components and the husk is a lighter components. So with the help of the wind, as the direction of the wind is at the right side of this page, so what will happen, the wind will blow all these husks from the grains, and as the grains are heavier, so they will settle down, isn't it? So with this simple technique, the farmers do what? They can separate the wind from the husk, which are what? Impurities, or we will not eat the husk, obviously, isn't it? So the methods of the winnowing is commonly used by the farmers to separate the lighter husk particles from the heavier seeds of grain, right? And the husk particles are carried away by the wind, and the seeds of grains get separated from the heap near the platform for winnowing. And the separated husk is used for many purposes, such as fodder for cattle. Remember this point, that is a separated husk. Those husks which get separated from the grains, they can be used for many purposes, such as fodder for cattle, right? Now another process of separation is sieving. As we have already seen the process of hand picking, threshing and winnowing, the fourth process of separation is what? Sieving. Now what is this sieving? So to prepare the chapati, obviously we need what? We need flour, right? So we need to remove the impurities from the flour which are presented in them. So what we have to do, we have to sieve them, right? As we have used the stainer in case of removing the tea leaves from the tea, similarly we will do what? We will use the siever to separate the impurities, or to separate the larger particles from the smaller particles of the flour. As sieving allow what? Sieving will allow the fine flour particles to pass through the holes of the sieve, while the bigger impurities will remain on the sieve. If you can see the example here, that a farmer, in a construction place, what is happening, that a person is separating the cements from, or the pebbles and stones are removed from the sand by sieving. Here a person is separating the sands, and as the sands have the larger size of pebbles and stones, so what is this person is doing, that he is separating the pebbles and stones from the sand with the help of this siever. It is known as what? It is a siever. So the sievers have what? The siever have this type of structure, right? And the siever will do what? This will remove the larger this will remove the smaller and the fine particles of the flour or the sand, and will remove the larger particles from them by not allowing them to move. Okay, so this process is known as what? Sieving. So here I am going to end the chapter. I'm going to end the part 1 of this chapter up to saving. I hope that you all will do the activities and you all will complete the assignment very well related to this chapter, part number 1, separation of substances. Take care.